Good girl. You keep an eye on your new puppy. Yeah, Rena, good girl. And keep an eye on your new puppy. It's September the 22nd. It is one day after I applied my oxalic acid vaporization with my new Instavap, and I'm just coming out here to do two things. One, I'm going to be feeding. As you see, I got my new 25-foot long 3/4 inch garden hose that goes out to my gas pump style discharge nozzle. So now I can actually reach everywhere in my apiary with my sugar syrup pump set up. The pump still isn't as strong as it needs to be. It's only, unfortunately, I think I looked it up on Amazon. The one I purchased is either a 30, I think it's a 30 PSI unit. It is rated for 12 gallons a minute, but not over this length. So I do just need to get a longer pump at some point. So anyway, though, back to the oxalic acid, I'm going to be checking my Mite Drop. Now, as I start to do this as well, man, in the future, I am going to want to get uniform equipment because I have so many different hive manufacturers that very rarely is everything different. I can go and cut a sticky board for one hive and it doesn't fit in another hive. So over here, I actually just have some 1-inch foam. On that one, I had used a piece of wood that swelled and it's stuck in there. I actually can't even check that one. But let's go ahead. This is one day after oxalic acid. We got mite. Those might be mite casings. That's a mite for sure. But one mite, I'll take that. Very, very good. Moving along. Big chunky pollen in there. Big old chunks of orange pollen. I don't see any mites on here. This would be great if they're all in this condition where they don't have a lot of mite drops. There's maybe, that looks like bee particles. Oh, there we go. There's a mite. That one has a couple on it. So I'm really glad my hives are in great condition by the looks of the mite drop here. Now I am going to go through, of course, and do more vaporizations. We got mite. Maybe another one in there. No, that's just stuff stuck on. Yeah, another one was there though. But, I mean, I'm testing colony-wide at this point. And I did this the other day when it had just hit 50 degrees. It was early in the morning, about 9:30. So there was not a lot of foragers out as well. So the treatment really hit a large part of the population. This one has more. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But still, 5 dead mites. Assuming that everything is as effective as it's supposed to be. Colony-wide, 5 mites. That's not bad. Now, granted, obviously, this isn't going to be killing the mites that are underneath capped brood, which they do have right now. This is only the mites that are on the bees that are in the hive. So that's why you have to do multiple treatments. So that way, as new brood emerges, you get them treated. Not seeing anything really there either. That board is just about clean. There's one there. Another one. Maybe a couple more up in there. But still nothing alarming at all. Other than the fact that none of my equipment is uniform. That's kind of alarming. But that's a future me problem. When I get much bigger, I need to make sure I have everything standardized. But I'm going to go through and check the other ones real quick, and then I'm going to test out my my new feeder to make sure that it does in fact pump 35 feet away. So here's a hive that was pretty bad on the screen board. I got mites all over. Mite, 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 and they're all over it. I could. There's probably 30 or 40 anyway. If I was to take my time and count up, there's probably even more than that because I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, right here in this little area. Now, am I alarmed? Not necessarily, because this hive in particular was my largest population hive all season. So they churned out more brood than anyone else and carried a high population. More bees, more mites. So what I'll do is in between treatments, I'll scrape that board down and I'll monitor to make sure that the mite load decreases. If they are in fact a consistent mite bomb, then I probably won't use their genetics when I am queen rearing. I won't pull from them. Unfortunately, I don't have multiple bee yards, so I can't move them to an out yard. So their drones will still carry genetics if they're mating with queens in the area. But that's getting far ahead of myself. Even so, the amount of mites that I see there, again, even if it was 60 mites, sampled from my largest population colony, the percentage is still probably well below the 3% standard threshold for treatment. So I'm actually not super worried about that. Something to monitor for sure, as we should all do. Let's see how well I can do this one-handed. So I had given them all a patty of fondant, which they've taken almost all of that down. Yeah, this is quite a challenge. The one-handed work. Definitely a lot easier with the tripod. So to keep everything as uniform as possible, I always make sure all of my frame feeders are on the same side. That way I don't have to guess as I go from hive to hive. Oh, and actually, that's going phenomenally. I think when I tested it yesterday, I had the hose still all wrapped up. This is working really well. The only difference is, unfortunately, with the pump that I have, it doesn't have a pressure switch, so it's always on, which means I could hit the limit of its duty cycle as I'm feeding. Not a huge deal. It's over there wearing away. But if it was a 95-degree day and I was doing this for hours on end, I don't want to burn up the pump either. So just got done feeding the yard. The hose worked out phenomenally. Now that it wasn't all wrapped up, it actually flows really well. My pump still runs the whole time, which is unfortunate. But the good thing is that it was so much easier than doing the 5-gallon bucket with the funnel method. Unfortunately, because of the sun almost being below the horizon and it being late September, a few of these hives, at least 3 of them, were pretty defensive, and I was getting stung in the hands pretty good. These gloves that I actually like a lot give me a lot of dexterity, and the mesh is really thin up top, which allows my hands to breathe, which is good because, man, if you're wearing just the nitrile gloves and it's 85 or 90 degrees out and you're working the bees for a couple of hours, your hands turn into soup. They are pretty much raisins by the time you're done. So with these gloves, that doesn't happen, but the bees can sting through that mesh pretty easily. So when I was at like 10 plus stings right now, I decided to go ahead and put the nitrile gloves on underneath, just to double up the layer of protection. So that aside, the other good news is every hive that was very light, medium light, everybody's gone up in weight by at least a few categories. So either they're all up to medium heavy, or heavy. So that is pretty awesome. They've all put on weight. A lot of them have actually drawn out a good amount of foundation as well. I do have one hive here that's still pretty low population. They're really only covering about probably about 2 of their frames, maybe 2.5 if I'm being generous. Kind of not enough. I think I'm going to do a combine with them with either one of their neighbors there, whichever one probably kind of needs it more. The other thing that's on my mind here is foliage this year. New Hampshire is still in extreme level drought for over 1/3 of the state. I am in that 1/3 that's extreme level. There's a little bit of the state too that's actually an exceptional level drought right now. There's a wedding coming up in about 3 weeks. It's kind of important to me. It's mine. And I'd like for the people that are traveling from out of state to really experience the beautiful New England foliage that we get. And I'm really worried that the drought's going to negatively impact that hard. So hopefully it doesn't. Everybody gets some beautiful colors. And that'd be really good, yeah, because I get people as far away from Hawaii that are coming out to the wedding. So it'd be really nice if they got some nice autumn colors out there.
Good puppies. Here, get her tail, Miles. Get her tail, Miles. Come on, Sabrina.